your succession plan is probably not ready to go. If you're joining us today, there's missing pieces, or as I mentioned, there's a significant amount of talk that has been done, thought that has been processed, but you really haven't implemented it. And we're going to hopefully cover how to really get started in truly not talking about it, not thinking about it, but implementing it. I want to talk first and foremost about what you're going to walk away with. I want to know, look to why you've come here today for succession planning. And you're sharing a lot of that in the chat, right? There's obstacles, whether perceived or real. You may have experienced and tried to implement a sale or succession plan, right? But you haven't been successful in doing so, or you've thought about it a lot. You've thought about succession planning, or you saw this from Clio and it sounded like a really interesting topic, right? But overall, what we find from the stats, there's only about 30% or less of law firms or law firm owners that actually have an implemented sale or succession plan. Meaning a lot of people talk about it, but not many really have that plan in place. A lot of people think about it, right, of wanting to do that and everything else, but it's how to take action. The steps seem confusing for so many. And also, I'll talk about a little bit, there are emotional barriers. We're lawyers, we're used to being in control. We're used to having kind of control of our practice, control of our law firm, right? And we identify as lawyers. Like that is a big thing for us in our community, in our firm, in our practice. Some lawyers out there have done it for 50 years plus, right? Some for 20, 30, 40 years. But overall, what are you if you're not a lawyer? And so retirement or succession has a way of being scary as part of that. And so whether you're a solo owner that's built a practice or you're a partner in a big firm that just wants to really slow down, succession and sale planning can get you there. It can get you there with the value of everything. It can get you there with the steps to regain some of your personal timeline as you ease into retirement. And I do say ease into retirement because typically we're talking about transition over time. Really in law firms, no transactions we've ever seen are like throw the keys and walk out the door. So let's talk about the step two, know your firm's value. I could do a full day or 2-day presentation on law firm valuation. It's what we do day in and day out. Every law firm, every law practice is extremely unique. And overall, right, you may have, a practice within this large AM law firm. You may have a solo practice in this small community, most somewhere in between. But the benefits of knowing what you've built is huge because it really lets you know what's possible. You've built something that has value that you can monetize for your retirement, for passing on to the next generation, right? For taking care of those people that took care of you as you grew your practice, for your family, for your loved ones, whatever it would be. And overall, as that perception and hopefully emotional shift happens, you start to be a little bit more proud and you start to get a little bit more excited about seeing what's possible through succession or sale to monetize that. And when I talk about financials, we're really talking about, of course, the revenues that are produced, the client fees, everything else. But in transactions and building out sale or succession, you're really talking about the owner benefit. I own or run this law practice. I have built and owned this law firm. This is something that me as an owner, right, I receive as a benefit as compared to me as an employee. What is that net income plus those owners' perks, right? And everything else that kind of layers on to your true owner benefit. And we really look to try to say, great, this is what you can transfer to another. How do I increase your firm's value? I talked about delegating. Spend, on the firm's systems, right, is a key component of that. Marketing systems for the firm, like marketing campaigns, building that out, and then internal systems so that you can get to a point where you've delegated and removed yourself. Knowing your financial, your metrics, having that reporting to share is a huge, huge part of that. So again, looking at that overall, value component, it really is investing in the business.